What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. This is 365 days of writing a short story every day until I become a better storyteller, artist, writer. Yesterday was the rough draft, and today we have the revision. It's a little more easy on the eyes. It's a little more structured, edited a little bit more. There's some commas in there, some punctuation in there, but it just overall it sounds better, and you can see the story a little bit clearer. It's not as fuzzy. So it's day 27. Today is day 27. Um, so without further ado, be hunter or be hunted. The revision. A blanket of gleaming stars draped the night sky. She learned early how to read those clustered lights, turning heaven into a map, a skill discovered and sharpened during a childhood of servitude, escaping more times than she could count. She ran the routes so often they became hers alone. Secret passageways formed in her memory. She learned to leave pieces of herself behind, discarded cloth, bent brass, not to mark where she'd been, but to train her eyes for what could not be touched. Her overseer despised the behavior, mistaking awareness for defiance. She was sold, sent, and shuffled between plantations. Still, the skill followed her. Though she never forgot about the, though she never, wait, hold on. Wait. All right. One owner found use for it during travels and hunting trips. When When trails dissolved and landmarks failed, she lifted her gaze. When the earth lied, the stars did not. She only got better with her age. Now Xena is the eyes of the group. Earlier that week, they found an abandoned Mustang, still attached to its wagon. A few days prior, the three youngest had slept inside covered in quilts, all but one, Mary. Although that wasn't her original name, the overseer decided to change it once she bore his child, as some kind of sick and twisted joke that spites the Bible. She's no older than 13. It's it's why the meter stayed by her side, acting as her parent, showing her how to nurse and soothe her infant. The meter spent the most time in the house assisting the overseer's family with mundane tasks. And she never forgot about the fields. Every now and then, going back out to not only pluck fruits and vegetables, but to observe. She would create herbal remedies, once even managing to convince the overseer's wife to allow test runs on the dwellers of the fields before her precious children. Deep down, she knew it to be just a ruse. She has the most skills. The wagon rocked and jerked from the cluttered terrain. Argus focused mostly on his balance atop the Mustang. He's the most inquisitive, quickly grasping concepts that he shouldn't be able to, then putting them to good use, often keeping his wits hid because it could cost his ability to speak. He was considered to be the most appealing amongst his kind. Often the overseers family members would female family members would sneak him into her sleeping chambers. Still, he played the fool. Once the maiden was fast asleep, he rummaged through her belongings, taking pieces of jewels and books and other items. The horse trampled, accompanied with the squeaky wheels, echoed through the wilderness. The creature scurried away. A loud, deafening boom suddenly went off, startling the bunch. The children jerked from their slumber. Argus pulled on the reins, halting the cart. Xena's tracking is disrupted. The beast collapsed. A stream of smoke emitted from an ember like wound. Two large men kept a safe distance. Slowly, Adonis lowered his aim. He learned how to operate a rifle as a reward for defeating so many gladiators. His face was filled with battle wounds. Once his servitude was ended, he was offered a wage to become his overseer's personal gladiator. Besides him wielding an Besides, standing beside him, wielding an axe, is Tecton. Since his teen years, it's been his task to repair traps, string wires, fix wagons, and whatever else was needed. His time spent as a gladiator came to an early end when he kept refusing to fight a danger. We kept refusing to fight. This was a dangerous move, but the overseer found more use of his building skills, though it still came with discipline in the form of whiplashes. Next, Xena picked up a faint sound of water, gesturing it to alert the group's attention. She picked up her pace. Argus whipped the reins. Hia! The tramplings became louder and more rapid. The wilderness began to thin out, an open space leading to a riverbank. The moon seemed closer than usual. Before long, they set up a campsite, creating a fire. Tecton decided to take some wire and wait, yeah. Tecton decided to wrap two worn out shirts around a stick, dampening it with liquor and inserting it into the fire, into the flames, then jamming the two large sticks into the earth. They only had a crate of berries and a few skinned prairie chickens. The rations wouldn't last the rest of the journey. Tecton grabbed some barbed wire from a crate, stretching it between four tree trunks, an inch from the ground. Next, Xena and Argus helped out to set up four bear traps around the wagon, placing a decoy chicken in the center. The final trap was a cage with a pile of berries held up by a stick, angled in a way that it could collapse with one tug of the rope. They took turns sleeping, rotating their attention, keeping their eyes on the silhouetted bushes. The meter kept watch safely from the wagon with the pickaxe she got from Tecton. The forest chattered well into the night. The next day, a thunderous roar woke the children. Adonis aimed his weapon. A beast's hand A beast had been snagged by the bear trap. It clawed at the air in pain. Its large body thrashed back and forth. A deep maroon liquid spilled from its ankle. Xena paced herself, holding dagger, a sharp-edged stone. Boom! Tecton waved the stick of fire back and forth in the beast's face. It persisted its clawing. One last deafening blast. Boom. The bullet traveled through the beast's mouth and out the back of its head. Its large body swayed back and crashed into the ground. It celebrated joyfully. Xena removed 8 snagged rabbits from the wires. More rabbits were trapped underneath the cage. This area had been temporarily conquered. Soon they'd have to resume their travels. Being treated like wild beasts allowed them to adapt to an area allowed them to adapt to an era where the wilderness had yet to be tamed. Revised version, man. You can see I got a little shaky towards the end, and I admit that. Yeah, I got a little shaky towards the end. It's harder to end it. You can find the beginning, you can find the title, you can find the middle, but ending the story is hard as hell. It's the hardest thing. I just gotta get better at that.